Can you describe your relationship with your egg donor or your surrogate if you have one?
I do not have, my brother and I do not have a relationship with our surrogate, but our egg donor was our aunt, so I know her. I do have a relationship with her, yeah. I mean, I don't treat her any different from any of my other aunts, so I guess it's not a special relationship, but I do know her, and I do speak to her, and I do see her. So yes and no.
Well, I do have a relationship with her. I actually call her mommy. So it's not as much of a relationship as I have with my dad's, but I do call her mommy, and we do speak with each other on Mother's Day and holidays and birthdays, and so I do have a relationship with her. It's just not as close as I do with my dad's.
So my surrogate and egg donor happen to be the same person. And I think when I started asking questions about it, that's when we first went out to meet her. And when me and my brother first met her, I think I may have called her mommy at one point. And I think my parents were kind of scared by that. And afterwards, I guess we had talked, and ever since I really haven't called her that or thought of her in that way. I have two dads, and they're the people I'm close with, and I don't even really have much of a relationship with her. But I think for me it was important to meet her and kind of know where I came from, but I don't think that's necessary for everyone.
So this is a good question because we've got the full spectrum, right? Any advice around that question for potential fathers to be?
Yeah, I would say that as long as the surrogate or egg donor, or if it's the same person, just as long as they're willing to keep your children's options open, if they want to meet the person, then yeah, I think they should be able to, as long as both parties are willing. And if they don't want to, I think that's also okay. And just whatever relationship that you have, I think they're all different because it depends on your family and who you are as a person and things like that. So
yeah, I think it mostly depends on the parents because it's really their decision in the early years of their child's life, because the child doesn't really know. I mean, they don't really know what's different and what's not. So I think that could color the child's opinion when they grow older. But I do think that if the child wants to meet their surrogate or egg donor, that it would be a good idea to maybe set up a Skype call or something, unless they really, really wanted to meet them.
I would say it's good to keep your options open and not necessarily close off a relationship with an egg donor or a surrogate. I think with today's world and the increasing amount of different types of families, it's people and children tend to find out that they have to have come from a woman in some way, and I think some children will want to meet them, some people, but no matter what, they're probably going to have some sort of questions, and I think it's good to at least have the ability to, but I don't think all children will feel the need to meet them, so I think it's up to the parents.
Yeah.
All three of your answers were great. So Leave, in your answer, you mentioned that the child, doesn't really know what's different and what's not.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from each of you, when was the first time that you realized that your family was different than the other kids on the playground or in school, or where was it? And, what was that process like?
For me, there was never really one moment where I was like, whoa, I have two dads, and not everyone has two dads, and that means I'm different. There was never one moment that just occurred to me, but I think I just grew up knowing that. But I don't think it was really significant to me because like the way, like the composition of your family, who's in your family, doesn't really define how good your family is in any way. So I didn't think it was bad to have two dads. So it didn't really change my opinion of what's normal and what's not. I just thought, well, if you've got a loving family, then that's that, and that's great. So.
Yeah, there wasn't really ever like a moment where I go, wow, I'm different from all these other people. It was sort of just like a gradual understanding that this is not how everyone has their families made up, and regardless of that fact, it doesn't make my family any less than their family. It just means it doesn't detract from the love in the family at all. It's just I have two dads and they have one dad and one mom.
I don't think there's any specific moment that I realized it either. I think people maybe going over to friends' houses and seeing that they had a mother in their life kind of showed me that maybe my family was a little bit different, but my family didn't feel any different, and I don't think that whenever I had any friends over to my house that they felt like my family was different. Maybe they'd ask questions, but there was never really a single moment where I felt different.